Why there is no democratic backsliding in the Baltic states? In this presentation, we are talking about how Russia and the Russian minority and the party system on their institutionalization have saved the Baltic democracies from backsliding. Think about the current state of democracy in Central Eastern Europe. Almost no one is talking about democratic backsliding in Estonia, in Latvia and Lithuania, in the Baltic states. However, there is quite a lot of talk about democratic backsliding in the Visegrad countries, in Poland and especially in Hungary. It is quite unexpected that one can see democratic backsliding rather in monoethnic societies, like in Hungary and Poland, but not in ethnically diverse countries like the Baltic states. Many mainstream theories often see ethnic diversity as a serious impediment to successful democratization and maintaining healthy liberal democratic regimes. Therefore, it's a puzzle why we can see democratic backsliding in monoethnic societies, but not in ethnically diverse societies, as the Baltic states. Here comes the major argument of the current research. The Russian minority, the Russians, party system under institutionalization, and also geopolitical vulnerability have saved the Baltic democracies from backsliding and have been rather the blessings, not the curses. First, shortly about the Russian minority as a blessing. The cross-cutting ethnic cleavages and the Russian minority's unwillingness to vote for the nationalistic parties makes it very difficult for the populist radical right parties to form sizable and overarching class coalitions of discontent citizens. Therefore, the Russian speakers are ruining the game for the populist radical right. However, if you're looking at Hungary and Poland, in which there is no ethnic cleavage, the illiberal conservative parties have been quite successful in forming the large overarching class coalitions of citizens who are dissatisfied with the current liberal democratic regimes. And those class coalitions have helped them, the illiberal parties, to win the legislative majorities. So we can treat that ethnic diversity and the presence of Russian minority in the Baltic states rather as a blessing, because it makes difficult for the populist radical right to obtain the majorities in the parliament. The second, fragmentation, party system fragmentation and on the institutionalization. Because the Baltic party systems are quite fragmented and under-institutionalized, it again makes it very difficult for the populist radical right parties to win legislative majorities, because there are so many parties and the political landscape itself is quite fragmented and fluid. In contrast, if you're looking at Poland and Hungary, then those countries resembling rather the two party systems. And therefore, it has become much easier for the illiberal parties, Fidesz in Hungary and PIS in Poland, to win legislative majorities and to introduce illiberal reforms. Again, we can see that party system fragmentation could be a blessing, because it makes it difficult for the populists to get legislative majorities. Third, geopolitical vulnerability could be also treated as a blessing. Because if we consider the precarious geopolitical position of the Baltic states, then for them it's very essential to maintain strong support from the Western democracies, and therefore they are less eager to experiment with the illiberal forms of government. In contrast, in Poland and Hungary, which are much better shielded from the Russian threat, especially Hungary, this argument is somewhat less relevant. Thus, we reach a paradoxical conclusion that the Russians, party system on the institutionalization, and Russia have saved the Baltic democracies from backsliding. Thank you for your attention.